most of the people are mid-career. They've already spent like between 2 and 5 years in tech, and sometimes even more. And they don't see how to get to the next level. Like, what's the next step that I can take? And something that I always tell them is, when you start your career and you're like a junior engineer, mostly what happens is someone comes to you and tells you, hey, this is the problem, this is the solution, go and implement it. So that's the first years of your career. Most of the time you're spending it that way. Then when you're starting to get like more semi-senior, senior level, someone comes and tells you, hey, we have this problem. And then what you do is say, okay, this could be the solution, and you go and implement it. And that's the second step. And the third step is no one tells you anything. And you have to figure out what are the problems that your company or your team, or like in whatever context you are, should be solving. And you are the one going out and say, hey, this is a problem that I'm seeing that we should solve. And then depending on how your team looks like, you could say, and this is a possible solution, go and implement it. So you're talking to a junior now and telling them what to do. Or you're just talking to a semi-senior, senior engineer and say, hey, this is a problem, figure out the solution and implement it. And like, that's for me the 3 steps, or there are many more levels in general in companies, but like if you divide it in 3 big chunks, I'd say those are the 3 one. And most people get stuck in the second one, and it's really hard for them to go to the next level. So I think if someone is in that situation now, I think that's where they should start looking at.
Cool. Anything you can tell them, to those people that are in the second stage, that they're stuck, in order to get some tools, or what tools they can use to understand, okay, how I'm going to find the solution?
Mm-hmm. So I think one of the things that is really helpful is looking, when someone comes to them telling them, hey, this is a problem, find a solution and implement it. Like talking to that person, say, hey, like, how did you figure out that this is a problem? And like that's one, just talking to people that are more experienced than you and try to figure that out. The other one is, when someone comes to you with a problem, go and design a solution and implement it, which is your job. But you can also start looking at, are there any adjacent problems to this one that no one told me about? Like, I'm solving for this particular thing, but is there anything in the vicinity that should also be fixed? And try to come up with ideas. And sometimes you can do this with a friend, like just brainstorm. Hey, I have this problem at work. Like, whatever things are similar to this that you've seen in the past that could be related. And just doing that exercise, I think it's really helpful. But yeah, in general, talking to someone more experienced is one of the best ways, because you get like insights on how they think and how they came up with particular problems to give you.
I think to summarize this is, and you have said this a few times when we were talking, is asking the right questions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For many things, for everything. Where do you want to live? Why? This is a problem we need to solve. Why?
Right. Yeah. There's a tool that is called the 5 whys that I use all the time and talk to everyone that wants to listen about it. But basically, like, whenever there's a question, like, ask why. And usually until you don't get to the 5th time that you're asking why, you're not understanding the actual root problem. So yeah, it's like why and how. And another trick is, you mentioned asking the right questions. Asking the right questions is really hard, but one way to get there is asking all the questions, even if they are not good. Like, come up with a lot of questions, and then you'll find some of them that are good, and you're going to start like getting better at it. But if you don't ask any questions, you'll never get to ask the good ones.